I want to talk to you about something that's happening to your classic car right now. Not because you skipped the service, not because you did anything wrong. Right now, today, as it sits in your garage, and most guys have zero idea that this is happening. Okay, so what's going on? Well, modern pump gas, all grades, 87 to 93, contains 10% ethanol. That's E10. And it's been running in your classic for years. They started putting it in there, I think, around 2012. And now they're trying to push E15. That's 15% ethanol. Not good. Here's the thing. The fuel system on your classic car was not designed for ethanol. Zero. No ethanol at all. It was made for pure gas. Every rubber component in the fuel system, from the lines to the gaskets, to the pump diaphragm, to the carburetor, to the floats, to the accelerator pump, were designed to run on straight gasoline, not a blend with 10% alcohol in here. I'm not a chemist. I'm not an engineer. What I am is a guy that's been working on MoPars and other cars for a long time. And I watched fuel system failures, even on my own car, become more and more common on cars that have no business having fuel system issues. You know, and I started paying attention very early on. And ever since they started introducing ethanol, let's connect some dots on what this is actually doing at this point. Okay, problem number one. And I want you to look at this right after you watch this video. Go out in that garage and take a look. Fuel lines. The original rubber lines that were in classic cars were originally made to handle straight gasoline. Ethanol is an alcohol. And alcohol does something really nasty to the rubber that was on those fuel lines. It swells it from the inside, and it causes it to break down. The outside of the line could look perfectly fine. No cracks, no soft spots, no external issues. But the inside is basically shredding rubber that is going into your fuel. And you know what those particles do? They end up in your carburetor. They end up in your fuel filter and then in your fuel pump. And if your filter is old, it's going to be completely clogged, which it probably is. It's going to get completely clogged. And here's the thing. This is not a dramatic failure. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens slowly over time. First, you start getting a little bit of a rough idle. Then you start getting a stumble. And then really hard starts when the engine's hot, where it shouldn't be. Stuff you chalk up to it's an old car. It is an old car, but this specific pattern of problems and specific causes, and the fuel line is where it starts. The fix? Well, go replace it with ethanol-compliant fuel line. Don't get the really cheap generic stuff. Buy the modern stuff, even if it says it's for fuel injection, because that is specifically made to handle the ethanol that is in the gasoline, unlike old standard fuel line, and it's worth it. Problem number two, and this one probably affects your car right now. If you haven't done a carb rebuild in the last 10 years, the carburetor. Specifically, the body, the gaskets, and the floats. Most classic MoPars are running Carter carburetors, an AFB, an ABS, a Thermoquad, depending on the year and application. Now, we'll start with the gaskets. The gaskets in those applications, the original ones, are not ethanol compliant. Ethanol attacks them, causes them to swell, and that throws off the air-fuel mixture. Actually, just had this happen on my Thermoquad. You get an idle that won't stay steady. You may even surge. And you get a car that floods on hot restart. You get a very severe off-idle stumble, and you can't tune it away because the problem isn't the tune, it's the gasket. The next part, the float. Now, the original floats on Carters go either brass or nitrophil. If you're brass, you're okay. Nitrophil, this is a composite material. It sort of looks like weird plastic, and it absorbs fuel over time. Now, that was normal, but ethanol accelerates this, and an ethanol-saturated flight basically sinks to the bottom of the float bowl, and so basically it never turns off the needle and seat. Gas keeps pouring into the carburetor. So basically, your jetting becomes moot. And no matter what you do, you won't be able to fix it because there's too much gasoline going into your carburetor. The third thing, the body. All those carburetors I mentioned, AFB, AVS, Thermoquads, they use aluminum, hence aluminum 4-barrel. The A in it is aluminum. Thermoquads, aluminum, top and bottom. Carter was very big in using aluminum. Same thing but the same thing happens with Holleys. They use aluminum. What happens with aluminum is you get this. You get this white rust from ethanol sitting. This is a Thermoquad I couldn't do anything with. And it's sad. This is a high performance one. And this stuff destroys the carburetor from the inside out. Now, the first two problems, rebuild kits are out there, and they're not too terribly expensive. But they come with newer seals for the needle and seat vitral. You know, they have ethanol compliant pieces in there, including the accelerator pump, because the accelerator pump on the originals was leather. Leather gets destroyed by ethanol, so they sell the vitral accelerator pumps. Make sure the kit is ethanol compliant and just go out and get it. A quick ask: if you're getting anything from this video, drop it a like. Because it helps this channel get in front of guys that need this type of information. Problem number 3, the fuel pump. And I've gone through this problem. If you're running a mechanical fuel pump, which if you're driving a carbureted car, more than likely you are, especially, if you left it factory correct, there's a rubber diaphragm in there. And what that does, it creates pressure and it actually pushes the fuel from the tank to the carburetor. Now, the original diaphragm material is not ethanol compliant. This one also fails nice and slow, really slow. The diaphragm gets soft, starts to deform, it's all like wavy. Then it loses ability to actually keep consistent pressure. You get intermittent fuel delivery problems, hot start problems. The car, it starts fine cold, dies on hot restart. You let it sit for 20 minutes and then it starts again. That pattern is the classic fuel pump failure. And ethanol is what killed that diaphragm. And the test for this is really simple. Disconnect the line from the carburetor and then put a container for the gasoline to go into in case it is working. Then manually turn over the car with either a remote starter, or on a Chrysler you can use a screwdriver, and see if any gas actually gets pumped out. And it should be large amounts of gas getting shot out every second or so. If that doesn't happen, then the pump is bad. So then at that point, if the pump's bad, then cut it open and then actually take a look at how it went bad on you. Or if you have one that's rebuildable, just rebuild it, and hopefully they've upgraded the rubber membrane to be able to handle non-ethanol fuel. I have a whole video here on actually testing your fuel system to see what's wrong. Now, the newer pumps allegedly have ethanol compliant diaphragms. I actually have the Edelbrock high volume pump, and that one is definitely ethanol compliant. It's a lot more money, but no problems down the road, and it's rebuildable. But that's just my personal preference. But if you're going to buy a regular pump like the Carter replacement, make sure it says that it's ethanol compliant. Problem number 4, and this one is specific to guys that did fuel tank sealers, when they did the restorations like 20 years ago. And there are a lot of cars that the fuel tanks were done 20 years ago. And that's because it was very common, and you're now going to start having a problem that no one knows about. See, because if your fuel tank was sealed with a sealer like Pour 15, tank sealer, cream, red coat, you need to check when it was done and what product was used. Some of those early generation fuel tank sealers, what happens, the ethanol attacks it and then it starts flaking off and dissolving. And that sealer it peels off from the inside and it goes right into the fuel. And that's just one thing, because it can clog the sock on the inside of the fuel tank. If it's small enough to get through the sock, it can go and clog your fuel filter. If they're small enough it can get through your fuel filter, it can get through your needle and seat and then get stuck in either your idle jet circuit or your primary jet circuit. You're going to spend hours trying to diagnose this thinking it's a carburetor problem when the problem is actually sitting in your gas tank. I had a video on taking one of those inspection cameras, put them into your gas tank. They're fine. Take a look and see if it's okay. If you have a problem, what you're going to have to do is drop the tank. My suggestion, buy a stainless steel replacement tank. You'll never touch it again. They're a little more money, but it'll never rust, and it will not react with ethanol gasoline. That's just my 2 cents. You spend some money now, a morning, swapping out your fuel tank, but it'll save you weekends of issues later on. Problem number 5. This one is more about storage, but this is relevant for anyone who parks their car for any amount of time. Phase separation. Here's what happens. See there. Ethanol is hygroscopic. It absorbs water from the air. Now, in a normal gas tank with a tight cap and, filled to the brim, and that's the best way to store it, is filled to the brim. This is a slow process, but with your classic sitting in your garage over the winter, or even during the summer if you're in Florida, with half a tank of fuel, which is probably the worst thing you can do, ethanol is pulling moisture out of the air through the vents, because most are open vented cars. And at some point it reaches the saturation point where the ethanol and the water separates from the gasoline. 2 layers, gas on top, water on the bottom. The water ethanol layer is where the fuel pickup is sitting, because that's where it picks the fuel up. And when you go to start that car in the spring or after it's been sitting for a while, that's what you're going to try to run through your carburetor first. And if it really doesn't burn right, it accelerates the corrosion in the tank and the fuel system and the carburetor. And in extreme cases, it causes enough moisture damage that you're looking at a tank, a pump, and a carb rebuild or a replacement carb at that point just to get it out of the garage. This is why fuel stabilizers matter. Specifically, a stabilizer that is ethanol treatment capable. Now, Stable 360 is what I use. I've been using this for years. I use it in my BMW and my Charger. And the other is StarTron. These are the 2 I'd point you to since they seem like they work the best. Run it in your tank all the time. And it doesn't matter if the car is going to sit for a week or 6 months. Do this at every fill up. That will actually help you from getting white rust and any type of water into your system that will not go away. Okay, let's get it together. The 5 problems, let's make 5 fixes. 1, the fuel lines. Walk in the garage right now and look at them. Not later, do it now. Well, finish the video first, then go look at them. If you have the original rubber lines, they're trash now. Replace them with ethanol compliant rubber lines, or that are silicone or vitriol. Make sure they're labeled specifically for ethanol use. 2, your carburetor. If you haven't rebuilt your carburetor in the last 5 years, or if it's been idling really weird or running very strange, pull the carb and rebuild it. Seriously, it's not that hard. Get a new modern kit with Viton needle and seals. For the Carter AFB, AVS, Thermoquad, there are kits specifically designed for this type of application, and those are the ones you're going to get. 3, the fuel pump. If you're having, an intermittent starting problem or a hot start problem and fuel delivery issues, and you've already ruled the carburetor out, then it's probably the diaphragm in the fuel pump. Now, to replace it with a Carter style, not that expensive. You can go a little bit more money with an Edelbrock, or the high performance Carter replacement style, and now you're going to be trouble free because those are going to be ethanol compliant. 4, your fuel tank. If that tank had a sealant put on it before 2010, just deal with it now. You're gonna need to replace your tank. Do it once, never worry about it again. I know it's not very cheap, but it's better than being broken down on the side of the road. Number 5, fuel stabilizer. Either the Stable 360 or StarTron. Every tank, every time. No matter if you're driving the car or letting it sit for 6 months, make it a habit to put it in there every time. That's the whole game right there. Really quick, this is MoPar specific for the MoPar specific guys. Carter AFB and AVS are very well supported and have lots of ethanol compliant rebuild kits. The kits are out there and they're pretty easy to find. Now the Thermoquad, which is my favorite carburetor, oops, that was loud. This is a factory carb on later MoPars, 1972 and up, on any V8 with a 4-barrel. This gets a little bit trickier. On the Thermoquad, the center section is phenolic. Now, for them to make it so the gasoline can go from the fuel bowls into the actual jet and up into the carburetor, they had to use a little fuel transfer well. Well, these transfer wells were glued on with a glue that was good for regular gasoline. Modern ethanol gasoline eats this adhesive. So what you need to do on this is you need to, if you have a Thermoquad, you need to carefully take those off and seal it with either JB Weld Marine or Marine Tex. Because if these start leaking, you have terrible idle and horrible fuel economy. Now, on your fuel lines, you have rubber at the back and you have rubber at the front on your MoPar. If it is old style stuff, just replace all of it. Don't just replace the stuff that you see up by the carburetor. Replace the stuff by the tank also. Here's the thing. You're not going to be reading a warning label on a gas pump about E10 and that it will do these things to your classic car. You have to figure out sometimes the hard way, or you're lucky you saw this video and you heard it from someone before it became a massive problem. If you got a buddy with a classic, share it with him. This is exactly the kind of thing that is worth knowing to be able to get ahead of a problem so he doesn't have to sit there and try to figure out why his car won't run right. Drop a year and make of your car below, and any other tips you have with ethanol, just hit it in the comments. I want to know from you guys, and I want to know what you're running, and then whether any of this stuff sounds familiar. You know, I generally want to know. I do answer most comments, so put it down there in the comment below. Also, if you have something cool or something fun, take it out, because you're going to make someone's day, probably your own, and I'll catch you in the next one.